We're talking about scenes. Yeah. So, as we go through the progression of a service, sometimes song to song, there are special things you want to do with the board. This is a feature that we haven't explored a ton yet as an audio volunteer team, but it's a feature that's really cool on the board, especially for big events with lots of instruments. It's something that allows you to transition your mix very quickly from song to song or section to section and not have to remix everything. So, say I've got a mix together that I really like. I've got all my individual channels on the board set where I want them to be, and I also have my DCAs set where I want them to be. On this song, let's listen for just a minute and see who is the lead on the song.
Yet even now we return to you.
Okay, it sounds like Casey is on our lead, which means that the lead vocal is going to be vocal 1. I want to make sure that that lead vocal is the hottest microphone, and I'd have whatever background vocals below that, typically 5 to 7 below that as a background voice, and say I've got my reverb and delay up. One of the things I really like is having that lead vocal a little bit more affected than all of the background vocals. So in my Sends On fader, I'm going to go to the vocal reverb and delay, and I'm going to send more of that specific lead vocal to the delay and less to the background vocals. I'm going to go to the vocal reverb on the screen here. Send more of that lead vocal and less of the background vocals. And getting out. Now, to save, say I've got this song where I want it. This is the mix I want for this song. The next thing I'm going to do is go to Store. On the right side of the board, you'll see a Store button here. And I'm going to call this, I'm going to delete that. This is backspace. I'm going to call that Steadfast Love. Steadfast Love. Okay. Store. Yep, I want to store that as memory 1. Okay. Now, to recall that scene, say I've messed up my mix and it's all, oh no, I don't have the settings the way I want them to be. What I can do is recall that scene. So I just pressed recall, and when I did, it brought back that scene based on, in the bottom right hand of this corner, if we can zoom in on the screen here, with the up button and the down button, I can cycle through whatever scenes I've saved and recall Steadfast Love. So again, say on a different song, I've got John on lead. So I'm going to bring up his vocal in that, bring down the other vocals, which are background vocals, and say in this song, there's a really beautiful cello solo, so I'm going to bring the cello up for that song. What I can now do is store that as a different scene. I want to save that actually here as number 2, let's say. So let's call this John's song. I'm going to store whatever I have configured here. So let's call this John's song. Not even worrying about the apostrophe. Store. Yes, I'm sure I want to store that in number 2. So if I start out in the morning with Casey's song, I can recall that, and it will change the fader setup. I'll show how I can kind of mess this all up. And when I recall that specific scene, say I sync through, I'm going to go to John's song now. I can recall whatever that song was. These arrows here allow me to cycle through the morning. Now, just arrowing down and up cycles me through the list, but I actually have to hit recall on the board to bring back that setting. So you'll see once it stopped kind of fading in and out and flashing, that means it's actually selected once it's on full. Okay. I can use this for a number of things, whether it's a solo for something, whether it's the lead on a specific song, if it's a really cool effects chain that I want to use, anything like that. You also don't have to use it. Typically, it's something I rarely use. Most of the time, I'm just actively mixing all of my faders. But that is how to save and recall a scene.